Before we begin the video, if you haven't yet, come on down and join my Discord server. Link is down in the description. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel for another episode review. Today we're checking out episode 9, Dungeon Party. This is the third anime episode of the series, and this one revolves around the Upley's backstory and how Korgran, Fungus, and Plundar all were invited to Shintaro to complete a quest. King Vangelis sends them to get the skull of Hazadur, which he claims he will destroy, and on their way they face a few challenges, but nothing too extreme. After a bit of difficulty transporting the skull back, they're able to get it to King Vangelis, who actually changes his mind and decides to keep it, and when the explorers disagree, he casts them into the abyss. Now, actually, I don't hate this episode. I'd actually say there's a lot of good stuff going on. Now, first of all, I'd say about half this episode's humor is good, and the other half we'll talk about later. But I could definitely name a few good examples, like Korgran's father asking him to stop talking in third person, and also Cole calling out Plundar on finishing the story he doesn't even know the ending to. Also, apparently, Korgran is from Metalonia, which is a really clever reference, and I guess that explains all the third-person talk like Karloff. Now, my stance on these anime episodes is, as long as it fits the story, it's fine with me, and basically as long as it's not the absolute worst. And while I do have a lot of issues with the animation, I don't mind the fact that they decided to use anime to begin with, and I think a lot of stuff looks really good, like the Skull of Hazadur and the backgrounds. Also, I enjoy the Upley's characters. I feel each one is diverse in his own way, and we got a good variety of characters going on here. These guys were not even in the sets to begin with, and this season has done a great job expanding beyond what it was given from the sets. And this episode has good action too. I mean, not too much of it, but I think it works well with the anime-inspired style. Cole's speech at the end and giving them the name Upley was also really good, and he also references the promise he made to his mother, which we'll see in the next episode. While I seem not to share the popular opinion of this episode, there are definitely a fair amount of complaints that I agree with. For one, the animation in this episode just isn't that good, honestly. In Last of the Formlings, it was way better. I guess Plundar and Fungus looked fine, but I just don't like the way Korgran and Vangelis looked at all. If Ninjago intends this to be an anime-inspired episode, it should lean more into that, because this episode I wouldn't even say is anime-inspired. This is just a 2D Western cartoon like the other stuff you see on Cartoon Network, and I just don't really feel it was that good in this episode. For some reason, I liked it a lot more in Season 11. The characters just looked better, and I don't feel that way about this. I saw a lot of people who immediately hated this episode and jumped to conclusions as soon as they found out it was anime, before even watching it, and I honestly cannot believe we're going through this again, and I don't agree with that at all. I don't mind that they used anime, however, I just don't like the way it turned out. Anyways though, as for the other half of the humor in this episode, it just wasn't good, you know, and especially Korgran's talking acts was really cringe. I just found that to be really dumb, and thankfully it doesn't talk much in the future. Also, that first scene of Korgran beating up the lizard was really silly. Just the overall way it was presented felt really childish and, again, really silly. This episode's plot, well, mixed feelings. I feel like it was paced well and fun to watch. I liked the story and thought it was interesting, but also the humor wasn't always good, and some scenes I just wasn't fond of. As for the characters, I mean, the three Upley are all decent characters. I just didn't like the way Vangelis and Korgran looked in the anime style. I do feel the animation in this episode was a notch below Season 11's anime style, and, you know, I don't actually mind that they used anime in this episode. I don't have an issue with that. It just didn't really look good to me, and I definitely preferred Season 11's take on this style. As for action, not too much of it in this episode, but what we got was mostly good, aside from that one lizard fight at the start, which I really didn't like. I surprisingly did not hate this episode, and I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10. I actually felt it was a decent episode, although with a fair share of flaws. Most notably, the animation was kind of bland, and the tone felt off at times, but the rest of the episode I actually liked. Anyways guys, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, share with anyone and everyone you know. If you guys are feeling toxic today, leave a comment explaining how much you hate me for liking an anime episode, and how much you hate anime episodes in general. In all seriousness though, don't judge a book by its cover. Let's try to avoid this controversy the next time there's an anime episode, because it's really not worth it. Anyways, leave a comment explaining your thoughts, be respectful and all, and looking forward to seeing what you guys have to say, and I'll see you next time.